And I'm always excited to see Philadelphia's #1 hockey beat reporter. It is Charlie O'Connor coming to us live from the Wells Fargo Center. Charlie, before we get to my nonsense, I need your thoughts on the game and mood in the post-game comments.
Yeah, I think this was the Flyers, I would say, their most complete effort of the season. The article I'm writing on the game, which will be up on PHLY.com in probably about a half an hour, 45 minutes, something like that, because I got through most of it. That's what's great about games like this. You could actually write during the game because you know what's going to happen. This maybe was their most normal win of the season.
Yeah.
Like they've been winning games over the past 2-3 weeks. They have. Winning more games than they've lost. But every time they win, it's something weird. You know, it's either, well, they got 19 shots on goal, but they won anyway, or they somehow scored 7 goals against the Minnesota Wild, like one of the hottest teams in the league, or they win in a shootout against Andrei Vasilevsky, and also Matvei Michkov was scratched that game. Like, every game they've won, there has been some sort of nonsense. This was the first time, I think, all year where they won a game with zero nonsense. They just went out, outplayed the other team, and won the game. There was no, it wasn't like, well, yeah, you outplayed the Sharks, but you blew a 3-goal lead in the third period and you had to win that in a shootout. Like, that game even had nonsense. This game had minimal nonsense. And that's really all I can say, is that finally the Flyers won a normal game. And that is very reassuring. Now, as for what I heard in the locker room, obviously the guys are real happy about the game. John Torella was very happy with the performance, said he felt like the team's playing in fives again. They're playing connected. He seemed like he was very enthused that they bounced back from that showing in Ottawa, which, they won the game, but they didn't play well. And everybody knew they didn't play well, including John Torella. One thing that I did find really cool, and I hope you guys ask me about him later on in the segment, John Torella flat out was advocating for Travis Sanheim to make Team Canada for the Four Nations tournament.
Yeah.
He basically said, I hope Hockey Canada's watching, and raved about how good Travis Sanheim has become. I thought that was really cool because, look, it's not weird that a coach is advocating for his guy. It makes sense. But John Tortorella's name and his voice, it carries weight. That is going to have hockey people take notice and be like, oh, maybe I should give this Travis Sanheim a second look. Or, well, if John Tortorella, the epitome of the hard-ass NHL coach, is saying that this guy should be on the team, maybe we should take his candidacy a little bit more seriously. I thought that was really cool. It was a nice thing from Tortorella to give his player a boost, a player who truly does deserve it. Travis Sanheim has been playing fantastic hockey.
Since you mentioned him, yeah. Charlie, do you remember when they traded Travis Sanheim?
Almost.
That seems like so long ago, and now my Sanheim apology tour continues. Couple of points tonight. Little light work for him in terms of the ice time, just 27 minutes, no big deal.
Yeah, only 27 minutes.
It wasn't 30. Makes the big play on the goal on a shift where he had 3 scoring chances himself. Gets the assist when he sends Michkov with the outlet pass after blocking a shot. Has he stepped up to yet another level, or do you just see this as a continuation of what he did last year? Maybe I'm just late to acknowledge how good he's been. Is he on that next tier now? Top pair defenseman? Is that what we're looking at with Travis Sanheim? It's not just the minutes, it's actually true with his level of play.
Well, I guess to answer the first part of your question, yes, I do believe he's reached another level. This is the best I've seen him play his entire NHL career. And it's worth noting that he's had other stretches where he's played very well in the NHL. He's always been an advanced stat stalwart. He's driven play pretty much since the start of his NHL career. He had a really good year with Phil Myers in 2019, 2020. He was very good last year. So we've seen good Travis Sanheim before. This version, though, is even better than the one from last year, in my opinion. And the reason is because last year, as good as he was, and he was very, very good, especially in the first half of the year before he started to get banged up and was clearly playing through injury, it did seem a little forced in a way. It just seemed like he had in his head, they're telling me to be assertive, so every time I have the opportunity, I'm going to carry the puck up ice. I'm going to fly around with the puck. I'm going to do stuff because they want me to do stuff, and they don't think I can do stuff. Well, goddamn, I'm going to show them that I can do stuff. It was good. It was impactful, but it did feel a little bit forced. This year, nothing feels forced. He isn't lugging the puck up ice maybe as much as he did last year, but he's picking his spots so much better. Like when he activates offensively, you stand up and take notice because it's not just that he can do it. It's that he thinks this is the right time to do it. He's a player right now who has supreme confidence in everything he's doing. And like, it's not that he doesn't make mistakes. He's playing 27, 30 minutes a night. Like he's going to have some turnovers, whatever. But he never seems like he dwells on it. You know, he makes a mistake, has a mediocre shift where he turns the puck over. Next shift, he's right back out there pinching and activating on the rush, things like that. Sanheim's been great. And, you know, the other part of your question about is he now a top pair defenseman? Like this version of him, absolutely, is a clear-cut top pair defenseman. Like I don't think he's a number one, but like to me, he's very clearly a number two. Like he could be, this version of Sanheim could be a number two on my team any day. The big thing is that can he hold it? Like, you know, if this is the Sanheim we get the entire season, then yeah, maybe he is a true top pair NHL defenseman that you can pencil. And I'm not just saying like, yeah, last year he was a top pair defenseman. He was a top pair defenseman on a team that if they had better defensemen would not have been a top pair defenseman. He was a top pair defenseman by default. This version of Travis Sanheim could be a top pair defenseman on pretty much any team in hockey. And that's the leap I think he's making. We will see if he holds it. I really like Travis Sanheim. I would love to see him continue to do this because it's a lot of fun to watch, but he still has to continue to do it. Thus far, though, you know, the guy who we've seen really since, I would say, the Cam York injury, that guy's a top pair NHL defenseman on any team in the league. Now the question is, can he keep it up?
The big pregame story is obviously Erik Johnson's 1,000th game. The boys seemed a little extra juice tonight for this one. Do you think that maybe a little win it for EJ? You know, we see 10 shots in the first period, couple of goals, some really strong shifts, some of those dominant forechecking shifts that we haven't seen out of them much this year. Do you think maybe that had a little something to do with tonight's effort?
I don't know. Look, I'm sure they want it to play well. And they really, really like Erik Johnson. He's an extremely popular player in that room. It was very clear that they were genuinely excited that he got to his thousandth NHL game. I don't know if they needed the added boost of, well, let's win it for EJ. Like it's not like he's dead. You know, he's still playing hockey. This isn't like a win one for the Gipper type thing. Like, yeah, maybe it gave him a little extra energy, but I don't think that was the reason. I think they just played well. I think the Flyers just. They built off of what they did on the road trip and also kind of what they did in the San Jose game. Like, yeah, they give up that lead, but they could have won that game 7-2. Like that game, the quality of play should have resulted in a much more lopsided score than what was ultimately the final score. They played very well. Then they go into Ottawa and they play like crap for the vast majority of the game. They somehow come up with a win because they defended well in their own zone, and Linus Ullmark was terrible. This game, back to where they looked like they were going prior to the Ottawa game. Is it possible that the Erik Johnson thing gave them a little bit of a boost? Maybe, but I feel like that's honestly selling the team short. I just think they played a really good game.
Kelly?
Oh, yes, hello. Hi, Charlie. So the team's back to Hockey 500, and they've won 3 straight, 4-0 and won their last 5.
Stanley Cup?
Well, I mean, I wasn't going to say it, but if you're going to say it. Do you think that despite like the inconsistencies that have come in some of these wins, they're kind of winning despite playing like crap, like in the Ottawa game? Do you think we should be finding positives though in the result, despite the fact that sometimes the process hasn't looked great?
Yeah, but also I think the reason for that is because aside from the Ottawa game, I think the process has been good. At least recently. Like the Tampa game, they played pretty well against a legitimate playoff team. Florida, they lost, but they played legitimately very well against one of the best teams in hockey. San Jose, they took them to the cleaners in terms of, you know, chance differential, shot differential, you know, just quality of play overall. And then this game, they outplayed the Sabres. I mean, did they outplay them to the tune of like a 5-2 score? Maybe, maybe not. They definitely deserve to win. And it shouldn't have been a 1-goal game. Like they should have won by at least a couple. I think that the process of tonight's game was actually very reassuring. And I think, you know, the Ottawa game's the tough one because it's like, well, if you're trending upwards, then how do you just not show up for the first 2 periods of that game? That said, they did find a way to win the friggin' game. And as weird as it was, they did win it. You can't erase that W from the standings just because we watched it and we know it was bad. It's still a win. So overall, I would say for the last week and a half, I think you can be very happy with the direction of their process, I would say.
Charlie, Kelly and I were talking about, like, during the game, some of the, like, after whistle, I wouldn't say abuse, but just the stuff that's been happening to Michkov here and there. Guys trying to get under his skin, trying to test him. Listen, I asked this question and I think about, like, Hatcher knocking out Crosby's teeth and, like, okay, maybe it's not abnormal, but maybe we just haven't had one of these guys in a while. Do you think he's getting a little bit more of that than other rookies? Like, being the hot shot? I don't know. It just seems like it's happening a decent amount, that his teammates are coming to his defense and teams still do it.
I do think he's getting it more.
Okay.
But I don't think it's because, like, there's a target on his back because everyone goes in the game saying, I'm going to mess with the kid. I think that there are some guys that probably are doing that, like that Giovanni Smith one from 2 games ago, that Johnson has to jump in to defend him. Like, yeah, that's a tough guy wanting to bully the kid. Tonight, though, like, Zach Benson does not come into this game thinking, I'm going to mess with Matvei Michkov. He messed with Matvei Michkov because Matvei Michkov did something that ticked him off. Yeah. And I think that's the reason why Matvei Michkov is getting messed with more than most young superstars do, because he plays, I think John Torella said it tonight, he plays with jam. He plays with some grit. And he seems to have a knack for ticking off other teams' players. So, yeah, there's going to be the tough guys who are going to try to knock him off his game by bullying him. And that's going to happen to every young fledgling superstar. Like, that's normal, and that's why, the Flyers have guys that want to jump in. But those other superstars don't necessarily have the kind of annoyance factor that it seems like Michkov has. It seems like he just has a knack for ticking off other players. And because of that, maybe he is going to deal with a little bit more abuse than the average young star, because the average young star isn't doing the things on the ice that Michkov's doing.
Remember how we said that these guys are learning from Travis Konechny?
Maybe. I really like. He doesn't seem to know a ton of English. I gotta know what he's saying out there. I need him
mic'd up so bad. Like, I want to know what he's saying.
I feel like he's learned 3 words and they're all insults.
All bad. Yeah.
But that's for another day. Charlie, just one more thing before 3 stars. Couple more points for Anthony Richard tonight. He makes the whole Zamula goal happen. How can you take him out?
I don't think you can. I'm going to make this quick because the battery of my computer is dying, so I need to wrap it up or else you're going to lose me mid-sentence. But look, Richard's gotten some good luck. Like, he gets an assist on that Zamula goal, which, like, come on. The chances of that going in, very, very slim. It bounces off of Zach Benson's stick. So he's getting some good luck. However, 6 points in 5 games is 6 points in 5 games. Yep. And he's getting these points, like, yes, he's not going to keep this up, but he's getting these points because he's doing smart things. Like, he gets the assist on that Zamula goal because he has a really good high-octane controlled zone entry. Like, no, most times that's not going to result in a goal, but it's still a good, simple, smart play. It's a good play. Flyers need guys to make those kinds of plays, and so far, Richard's doing that. So, look, he's not going to keep scoring at this rate. I think even he knows he's not going to keep scoring at this rate because he pointed out that he's been getting some bounces. However, if he just keeps doing the little things that's allowing him to get these breaks, that's probably enough to keep him in the lineup, at least for now.
Charlie, rapid fire 3 stars. Just go 1, 2, 3.
Yep. So third star, I actually had the 3-star selection in the arena tonight.
There you go.
So just going to go through the ones I picked. 3rd star, Travis Konechny. Really, 3rd star could have been a few guys. Could have been Michkov. Could have been Zamula, who actually had maybe his best game of the season. Thought he actually looked pretty good for the first time in a while. So hopefully he can build on that. But look, Travis Konechny is the driver of offense on this team. He obviously benefits from the 2-on-0 that Michkov passes the puck on. But look, Konechny's numbers this year have been fantastic. He has been scoring like crazy on a team where not a lot of guys are scoring. And he's been carrying the load. He did it again tonight. He's my 3rd star.
All right, star number 2.
Star number 2, Ivan Fedotov. Not perfect, gave up a couple goals late, doesn't get a shutout, but he looks like an NHL goalie now. I think that's really the best way to put it. Like, how good is he? I don't know. But at the very least, he's playing at a level where now I want to find out. Like, I want to find out what his actual true talent level is. Whereas those first 3 games, I didn't want to find out what it was because it looked like it was really, really bad. And now, like, I don't know. Is he an 895 save percentage goalie? Is he a 902 save percentage goalie? Is he an 890 save percentage goalie? Like, I don't know. He could be anywhere in that range, but I want to find out because he looks calm. He looks confident. Yes, he's never going to be the most, smooth goalie in the world. It's always going to look weird, which he's 6'7", 6'8". Most of those goalies are like that, but he's stopping pucks. He seems like he's getting a handle on this thing, and he was good tonight. He was legitimately pretty solid tonight. Gives up 2 goals, strong all around performance. Second star of the game. And
the first star?
First star is Travis Sanheim. I thought he was fantastic in this game. He, again, gets a pretty crazy workload over 27 minutes. 5th straight game with 27 minutes or more. We can't say 28 because he was a little bit under 28. Can't say that anymore, but great performance by him. I thought he was everywhere, especially in the first half of this game. Man, he was flying. He was flying from the jump. It's just been really fun to watch Travis Sanheim this year, especially over these last few weeks. Since Cam York has went down, he's reached an entirely new level. And as I said, now I'm just excited and intrigued to see if he can sustain it. And then, in February, March, we're talking about, not about man, Chuck Fletcher was dumb to sign him to that contract. We're talking about, is that cap hit a bargain? Because this version of Travis Sanheim is worth way more than $6.25 million a year.
We all silly like the mayor.